AFTERBUZZ fans of Below Deck, we're back for Season 4, Episode 9. The sea was angry. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Macho, macho man. Go, man, go.
Ooh,
To live.
Okay. What up, guys? Welcome to AFTERBUZZ's Below Deck After Show, Season 4, Episode 9. The sea was angry.
Hey, 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 hey. Macho, macho, macho man.
That's why I'm here. Don't stop.
Mike Rippe's ripping the
That was
jokes here.
great. We were ready for that.
My name is
I
Michael
felt it in
Rippe.
my-
I am your host. You can find me on social media at Mike Rips. And the macho ladies that join me every week are both here.
Hello, it is me, Angela Struck.
Hello.
Do you know what I almost did? Is I almost said, hello, rabbits. That's what I was about to do. And then I was like, wait, will people get
And
that?
there's meaning behind Hello Rabbit.
Yes, rabbit. Yes, I'm Angela Struck. You can find me on Instagram at Angela Struck and on Twitter at the Angela Struck.
Hey everyone, it's Madison Conklin here. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maddie Says This and on Snapchat at Maddie Conklin.
Can we just say, first of all, Michael missed this because he came in a couple seconds late. The phone call with Emily, how cute was that with her dad?
Her dad
So you
and
missed
her
this,
brother.
but- So yeah, her brother answered the phone, which sounded like the cutest 5-year-old British kid you could ever
Yeah,
imagine.
like
She's
cuter
like,
than Charlie.
Hello, Ams. And she was like, Max, is Daddy there? And he got on the phone and he was like, Rabbit.
Goes, hello, Rabbit,
He
how's my
calls her
princess
Rabbit.
doing?
And yeah, she's like, how is my princess? And she's like, I went on a date. And he was like, naughty girl.
There's
It was
just the
like an
way.
Proper British family.
Yes.
There we
like,
go. The
it was
verbiage
really
and the way they
amazing.
it's yeah. See, if I told my dad I was stuck on a boat and I went on a date with the chef of the boat, he'd be like, all right, well, just look out for yourself instead of like, you not to, well, I guess it'd be like not to go.
My
but
dad would be
he was like laughing.
oh, Angie, I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah,
Like, I was
exactly.
Like, okay,
like
whatever.
TMI. I'm
Yeah,
like, well, it's
yeah.
just a date.
Okay.
So dad.
Anyway,
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always for joining us. We're all here in studio tonight. It's great to be back. I brought my finest suit out.
And your
You're
new
looking
spectacles,
sharp.
huh?
Thank you. Yeah.
sharp.
Does he look smarter?
I feel smarter.
Hey, that's all that counts. Matters. I don't
Okay,
know.
and that's why you should follow. That's why you should follow her on Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm
Maddie
funny.
Conklin.
But
Crazy.
so yeah, so
What did you think of our charter guest? I realized that the charter guest, hello guys, who out there in our fan world recognized that one of the charter guests was Waldo from Little Rascals.
oh, she actually pulled out the phone because she was like, "This guy
was
looks like
like,
someone,"
I
and I was like,
know.
"I don't recognize the face." And I'm really good with faces. And she's like, "No, I'm going to do some research."
Yes.
Literally within 2 seconds, she's like, "Look."
For those
they're right
for those who did not know, Emerson and Blake from People's Couch were guests on the charter.
Yes.
And the blonde woman with the short hair, please message us in the live chat if you know who that actress was. She's also
looked-
famous.
Yes, and is it Ellen Barkin?
I think you're right. It's something like that. That sounds right.
She looked
she's
very
also
similar
famous.
if it's not Ellen Barkin. But to rewind really quick.
Those charter guests were great.
Yeah, charter guests were great. And what's even more interesting about them is that the main charter guest was a medium for celebrities, like a world-renowned
psychic,
medium,
yeah.
psychic, talks to the dead. So already the juju, as they kept saying
Yeah.
on the boat, was a little
very
off.
eerie, which is so apropos, being that it's the day after or Halloween.
darling.
I'm already on to Thanksgiving, the day after
I'm
Halloween.
on to Christmas. Like,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Also, happy Halloween to everyone. Give us
Yes.
5 stars for a happy Halloween.
yeah,
Yes.
and keep slapping the table
us
so
a
they can hear that
treat.
too.
Okay, but seriously, what did you guys think of the psychics? They actually didn't seem to be that accurate.
Oh yeah, no, definitely the main charter guest, Rebecca. Much love to you, but she was trying to read Captain Lee at their very fancy psychic dinner. She's like, "Your mother who has passed on, correct?" He's like, No.
Yeah, my mother's so loud.
in pure, like in perfect Captain Lee.
And then they're like, the letter that you received, any type of written communication that you received, and he was like, nope, never
received anything. And just totally shutting it down. He goes, I think it's a crock.
Yeah.
Like,
I've actually, I love, Tyler Henry Medium, that show.
Yes.
I love that show, and I feel like there are some people out there that have that gift.
Teresa Caputo, the Long Island Medium. Hello. Spirit is stepping forward.
What do you think, Michael? What are your thoughts on psychics? Because it seems like the men actually were more... not as
I'm skeptical of psychics, but here's my question. If you have a psychic in front of you, and you guys could tell us in the comments in the live chat, what is the first question you ask a psychic?
I don't know. What is it? I feel like you know this.
This is not an answer.
I thought this was like a...
I'm wondering. Everyone has their own things they want to know. What do you want to know?
I would want to know about, actually, my husband's... his grandparents, because they have a really crazy history, and I feel
Are we talking mafia?
No. Back in it's detailed.
You want some clarification?
And I feel like
I
people
hear about
would
this
be
afterwards.
like, oh, when this, and I would be like, no, I'll have to tell it another time. But that's what I would ask, because I feel like it's so specific that I would be able to tell right away.
Okay, Maddie says this. What about you?
Maddie says to the psychic, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Psychic, will I ever fall in love again? No, I'm kidding.
Not when you were that.
That's a tough question, because I don't know if I'd want to know the fate of my future, which I think would be my sort of question. Like, am I going to be successful? Where am I going to end up? And if I don't like the answer, which again, trip down memory lane for me, I did have my psyche read when I was in 6th grade, and I was dating a guy named Peter at the time, and I was so in love with him. And I said, are we going to end up together? And she goes, no, and you're going to be a fashion designer. I go, no, honey, that's my sister's job. And then I walked away. No, I did not.
Don't tell Maddie she's gonna be a fashion designer.
I did not end up with
Even
Peter.
though she shows up on set all fashionable.
Yeah, but wouldn't your first question be not something about your future? I would want to know if they're even real first.
Yes.
I would want.
Well,
I'd be
Exactly.
first tell me.
I would like to know credentials.
Yeah.
What
I've
makes
gotta
you
be
a
like,
psychic?
yeah, tell me
Give me the
something.
reason.
So you'd have to ask them a detailed question about your past that they wouldn't know, rather than what's your resume? Hand it over.
Exactly. I'd be like, I want to know what you
Resume.
can tell me. But anyway,
Headshot, please.
Oh, really?
It seemed to me a little bit like these psychics were trying to show everybody on Bravo that they
need
good.
their own show.
And
you
they were
think they
not.
were
We
playing
need a
for the
little
cameras?
pickup pilot of the
I felt like
psychics.
they were really playing for the camera. She was talking about how she had a cell phone that she calls to heaven, and
It's
she
over
has 600 phone calls, messages, and she speaks with Marilyn Monroe and Alfred Hitchcock, and they're very dirty to her. Like, woman, you sound.
And I'm surprised she didn't bring
like
up JFK.
a lunatic.
But yeah, could you imagine, the Talk or the Real talk show? The psychics, all right, so today we're just going to throw it out there. Somebody watching us.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it just felt like they were really trying to show, that they had this information, and then nothing they said was accurate.
Yeah.
And when Emily sat down, well, we can get to that. We should maybe get to it. Okay, so that's our opinion on the charter guest.
Yes.
Now, the seas were super rocky, and they were
What happened to the pool?
getting sick. Yes, the pool was floating away. The guests were all getting nauseous. So, it didn't seem like the first day was a very enjoyable day.
Yeah. Wasn't it the second day? Which would be kind of upsetting, because the first day they were out on the toys, which is when Kyle, our lovely Brit, forgot to tie it down.
Yeah.
So it's floating away 50 feet away from the boat. Of course, Captain Lee happens to walk out right when that's happening, right after he just got done berating Kelly for, all right, you have 2 strikes, 3 more strikes. You're not going to be able to go anywhere on the boat except for the crew quarters. So it's just hit after hit after hit with Captain Lee and Kelly. And
yeah, what are your opinions on this Captain Lee situation? I can't make up my mind. One week I think that Captain is being overbearing and difficult, and the next week I think that Kelly is, just incompetent.
It's like a roller coaster with them too.
Yeah. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I think that Captain Lee plays to the cameras a little bit. I
Yeah.
think Kelly is new in the position, learning it, and as the season's going along, he's starting to struggle more with hiding his frustrations and the continued kind of on his ass that Captain Lee is doing.
Yeah.
So it's a mix. There's a part of Kelly's just learning on the fly. And so
Yeah.
you have to expect there's going to be
some mistakes.
struggle.
Right.
You have to
And it's
learn
not
from those.
all on him, even though Captain Lee kind of puts it on him because the other people under him are his
Right.
people.
Well, see, that's what I agree with. To me, it seems like there's like this mutiny now between Lauren and Nico getting frustrated, and now to a degree, even Kyle getting frustrated with Kelly, saying, "Why are you being so emotional? Why are you coming down on us so hard?" I think Kelly has tried really hard to be a good, nice leader to them, and maybe it's backfiring.
Well, he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now.
I think
Yeah.
Either way, something's.
Yeah.
And you have to sway to being closer to the side of Captain Lee since he's
Yeah.
your boss.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think there's just a lot of animosity forming towards Kelly, like you were saying. The rest of his crew or his deckhands are not happy with the way he's now taking control over everything and trying to be proactive and just saying like, hey, keep an eye out on this. And while they're like, oh, he's just acting out of emotion. He's so emotional because Emily rejected him. But it's like, you don't hear what Captain Lee says to your boss.
Right.
Like on a constant because.
Exactly.
And I also feel that Captain Lee, he's like, well, your deck crew. It's like, but this crew is your crew. And without them, Captain Lee, you wouldn't be sailing this yacht right now. So I just feel like Captain Lee is just too high and mighty. And yes, he's been doing the show for years. He's been doing yachting for years. He's been a captain for years. But like, bring it down a couple.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also think that there's the part of it that we're watching a TV show, and so Captain Lee is kind of playing the character.
I think you're right.
up.
Yeah.
I think if there wasn't
he the villain, you
TVs,
think?
I think he enjoys that role of like tough.
Well,
And let's throw a little drama because then they're going to talk to me more. I'm going to get more FaceTime.
even like
I'm gonna get out of my
yeah.
corner.
And like, he's got this role now. He's Captain Lee.
He's Captain Lee.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right. I think that he's now really embraced this like hard ass stereotype that
He's
plays.
taking it on, and
I think he definitely likes that, and I think he knows that Kelly is an easier adversary than Kate.
Oh, exactly.
So he's like
100%.
not trying to mess with Kate, and he's like, my drama will be with Kelly. The thing that I think that Kelly has done wrong is I think he should have been a bit stricter with his crew from
Early
the
on.
beginning.
Yeah.
Instead, he was like,
Forming
Captain Lee's
friendships.
difficult. Like, we're all a team, and like, yeah, you're my buddies, and like, he's in a
dug
leadership
a hole and now he's trying to
position.
fill it
Yeah.
up, and it's just
like he needs to. Kate is friendly with her staff, but there's a difference.
Yes.
There really
I
is, and
think-
it's noticeable.
And they
I think-
respect her as a result.
And I think your point is spot on. And I think you can really see the difference in that comparison between Kelly and Kate in that this is Kelly's first time being in charge. He's moved over from being
Yeah.
the
Deckhand.
underling to the superior.
Yeah.
Whereas Kate has 3 seasons under her belt.
Yeah.
She's grown into the role. If we could get Kelly in 3 seasons in his 3rd season, he would know
I
exactly
totally agree.
how to
be
come in at the start. But at the start, he was trying to be low key, make everyone happy, and
be
now
everyone's
it's
best friend.
and now it's kind of backfiring because he didn't set that standard from the start.
Exactly. And now they're like, why is he being such a dick?
Exactly.
And it's like, well, he's just trying to do his job now, and he's like backpedaling. So it's a tough one. I will say, though, about him, I feel bad for him in the sense that he never throws anybody under the bus.
Kelly.
Kelly, when
Yeah,
he goes
he
to
just
speak to
takes
Captain,
it.
and I feel like his crew really isn't appreciating that at all.
I think they're all going to appreciate him
When
more
they watch,
in the long run.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think when they watch him,
short term, maybe you're pissed at him, but then you look at it and you're like, that guy had my back.
Yeah.
He was really easygoing when he could have been.
Yeah, he told Lauren, you shouldn't have done the thing with the pizza. We have to be more careful, whatever, I guess. But he didn't say it to Captain. He wasn't like, Lauren was wasted and you
ate
need to,
half a piece of pizza
honestly, I've
by
told
your
her she
bedroom.
needs to drink, Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that's interesting. I kind of feel bad for him in that sense, but hopefully he'll watch this and learn from it and, come on assertive from the get-go next time.
We're going to have to see what happens to Kelly.
Yeah.
Are his
it
bosun
says that he
days
gets
limited?
I thought it was interesting that Nico was like, because we saw the preview, right, guys, when Nico is promoted to bosun. So we know that's happening. I thought it looked like Nico was going for it this episode when he's like, give me your job.
Yeah.
I didn't see that side of him before.
I don't know. On to newer and better things. Ben and Emily, can we please? Can we
Yes.
please?
Is that better?
It is better.
Well, but it was
Okay.
also kind of awkward tonight.
Exactly.
All
But
right, so
going back to the psychics, they're doing a reading of Kate at their second night of dinner. And, or was it the first?
No, the first night they read Kate and Captain.
Okay,
The second
that's right.
night they read Emily.
Okay, so you're correct. The first night at dinner, they're reading Kate, and Rebecca, the main charter guest, is saying, okay, there's a spark between you and someone. He's tall, dark, and handsome.
On the boat.
On the boat. He's witty. He's funny. There's definitely still a strong connection
And he doesn't
there.
like pistachios.
Yeah, like she was like, he doesn't like nuts.
Yeah.
And so Ben and Emily are listening because Ben's like, are they talking about me? So they go and listen. And of course, the more Emily hears and Ben hears, it's like that's shaping up to sound like she's talking about Ben.
So Emily gets very
Emily
jealous.
shows her age, her
Yeah.
21-year-old
She seemed
insecurity
young,
age, which is totally
immature.
fine.
Yeah.
We all have them. But she kind of gets pissed at Ben.
Yeah.
It's totally not his
Wasn't
fault.
his fault. Some
This
psychic
woman
yeah.
is reading Kate, and she's like, oh, well, he must still have feelings. So
Yeah.
then the next night, you know.
They're like, oh, we'll read you, Emily,
We'll
if
read
you'd
you,
like.
yeah.
And Ben comes in, interrupts her session.
But, like,
literally one
yeah.
question. She didn't even get a question. The woman just was like, you know someone named Daniel. But the woman seemed weird to me. She's like,
Yeah,
do
she
you know
was a
someone
little-
named Daniel? And she was like, yes, he's older. And she goes, do you want me to keep going? Like, she hasn't said anything
She's
yet.
like, I've done my job.
Yeah.
I'm
like,
psychic.
yeah, like, you know someone named
Really?
Daniel? Like, I think probably 90% of, like, people know somebody named Daniel. So she said that anyway. And then all of a sudden, Ben comes in and is like, is there a future for Emily and I? Which I thought
is
was really
intense.
dumb.
It's too much. They went on one date. Like, I get that you're puppy love, you're googly eyed, whatever, but like, pump the brakes, slow your
didn't
roll,
see a problem
chef.
with that. I think Ben doesn't believe in it, and I think that Ben was just kind of like getting like shits and giggles with
listen,
it.
if you're gonna have a psychic, ask a serious or like fun,
Yeah.
real question. Don't ask like
Yeah.
stupid, doesn't matter
and
questions.
that's the thing is this is still, in my opinion, this is for TV purposes was entertaining, but it's still a charter guest, and he
Yeah.
started to serve some serious attitude to this woman and was talking like, well, I thought you're supposed to know everything, and I,
Made her very
you don't know this,
uncomfortable.
and saying you don't think we'll work out. Well, Emily, we'll go on a date tomorrow night. I'll
prove
see you in the morning. I'll see you too, psychic. Like it was
So
a
he kind
little.
of crossed the line.
He
of
did.
Cross the
being
line
He did,
as
yeah.
professional on the
professional
boat.
and taking it personally and affecting his job.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ben and Kate.
Yeah, they started bickering too. I think that
Like
the
an
energy
old
was just
married
really
couple.
weird.
The
Yeah.
juju is funky comedina, but that connection between Ben and Kate was obvious when they're arguing.
Exactly. And Emily actually felt very insecure to watch them argue because it seemed like a couple.
And Ben's like kind of almost chasing after her like a puppy, like, oh, come back, please talk to me. And she's like, I just don't feel comfortable around it. And it's like, you know, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, Ben, I've never seen you so out of sorts with someone.
So here's a question for you two and anybody out there watching right now in the live chat or during the week, leave us a comment. Do you prefer Ben with Emily or Ben with Kate?
I think that Emily and Ben have more potential as a couple. I think that Kate is older. I think she's ready for something now.
Isn't Ben older though?
Yes, but I think she's ready for something now. I think that Ben is gonna slowly get into something, but I think Kate is ready for a
Waning out
relationship.
as a
She's ready
bachelor.
probably for a kid in the next year or two. Like I think she's, if she wants them, like I think she's like kind of ready to move forward. I think Ben's still gonna need a little bit of time, but I also think that Emily and Ben come from such a similar background.
That
like
they've got
Ben
more in
is bringing
common.
his brother on next episode. It looks like I think his family's approval means a lot to him, and I think having a British girl from the right.
oh, shit. I didn't even think about that. He has
Yeah.
his brother coming on to assess
Yeah, I think
So
that.
you're Angela, Ben and Emily.
Well, I love to see him bicker with Kate, and I love their dynamic, and I loved them before, but I just don't think it's happening. And I think Kate genuinely
She's
likes
his bro.
Ro.
Yeah.
And what about you, Madison?
You know, I think Ben and Emily might have a short-lived future together because according to her Snapchats and Instagram videos, her and Benny have been spending quite a lot of time together.
In fact, Emily was on the show last week.
Yeah, last week we talked to her about it. She said they're
she's
very,
spending a lot
very
of
close
time.
friends.
Is this like a Brian and Tiffany situation from Below Deck Med? You know how they were kind of hanging out afterwards, and we're like, are they dating? But we hadn't seen the rest of the season.
No, but I think that they actually are dating Ben and Emily.
I think they are too.
No, I think so. Yeah.
When we asked her about it, she kind of had like a twinkle in her voice
happy
when
to talk about it, and she spoke
and they're
very
driving
highly.
around to like grocery stores. Like you
Yeah,
don't
they're
do that
together.
if you're just.
I think they're
friends.
together.
Is that news? They're driving around? Is this a Snapchat?
Yeah, I said the same thing. I saw them like canoeing together or something.
Yeah, they were in the car doing something.
They were.
So I think Emily and Ben and Sky Patterson seems to be very happy about
of
that.
people
Yes.
do.
Yeah,
No,
Ben and Kate as
yes.
friends are a strong duo. Obviously, they butt heads, but I think that kind of helps their dynamic.
Yeah.
And everything. So right now, I'm team Ben and Emily. I just think she might have a little bit of growing up to do. I mean, she says she's kind of an
She's
adventurous soul. Yeah, she likes to, when she has a plan, she goes and does it.
She does seem more mature for her age.
For her age, yeah.
I will say that.
100%. She seems
very
extremely
classy
mature,
and
very
mature,
sophisticated, totally.
well-spoken.
But she seemed a little immature in her immediacy to get frustrated at Ben about
because the
what the
psychic was
psychics were
saying.
saying. But
that's just the relationship part, I think, especially with the newness and the
I
jealousy or the
agree.
envy and just the uncertainty
Yeah.
around everything.
Right. Well,
Yes.
and can we go off on couple news?
Ooh.
We learn a lot about Kyle.
well, wait.
Should we
Before
back
that,
it
I was
up?
just going to touch on
Stay tuned. Kyle is
on the
crazy.
sprinkling of the ashes.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I thought that was a really beautiful moment, but also like kind of hilarious.
It's kind of tacky because he's like, oh, I have Aunt Lisa in a
mint container.
We're like, what?
So the guy brought his
One of the
aunt's
other charter
ashes
guests.
because she had specifically requested that whenever he traveled to beautiful locations, he sprinkle part of her ashes in those locations to remember her, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah.
Their big fear was that the ashes were going to blow in their faces.
And he's like, that would be something she'd come back right and hit us in the face.
Wait, but how funny was the moment when the psychic was like, that's what we do when we're passed into the other life. We still continue living and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, all right.
So moving on, this is my time to shine, psychic, not
I think
yours.
he was like, don't ruin my moment right now with your
Sprinkle. It was a very interesting,
It was just
but
kind of
fun
funny and cute and sweet.
Not very serious. Like, not everyone was on edge. They're just kind of like,
I
all
think-
right, we
yeah.
got the psychics here. We're just going to kind of feel it out and see. But yeah, overall, it seemed like they had a really good time.
Yeah,
Especially the guys.
Those guys seemed like a
So
party.
amazing.
So much fun. Like
They were probably
their
in
little
WeHo last night.
Speedos
I'm like,
and like,
I
oh my
was there.
gosh, their one-liners that mommy and daddy need to stop fighting and
Yeah.
everything. They were hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, so now we can get to.
Now we can get to the Kyle news.
Madison, tell us about
Which-
Kyle.
Well, and Emily and Ben had their date, which was cute. Not
Oh,
much else
yeah, they
to
made
say
out.
about that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and he
They got
carried
to first
hiccups.
base. Woo!
Michael liked that move.
It was a smooth move by Ben,
Guys,
but
watch
no one
out for
should be
Michael.
surprised.
Next time you have hiccups, he's gonna be like, "Come here, I know something to help you."
Yeah, you're gonna use that one.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Ben teaches us more than just cooking.
It is so frustrating, hiccups. So you can actually cure them with a makeout session.
Just
Like
hold your breath, come in.
that's a good one.
Or
That's
you
a
can
good
use
move.
mustard on the back of your throat. But anyway,
That's-
so Kyle,
that-
please
I
can we
just-
talk
for
about
the-
Kyle?
For the record, that doesn't make any sense, guys.
It does.
Yeah,
it
that's
does.
it.
Trust me.
Everybody has
My
weird
dad learned
remedies.
it in the Philippines when he was younger.
That's
so
okay.
Kyle,
Doesn't make
we
sense.
find out a lot. Yes, it does. Shut up.
Now we know that is the litmus test for legitimacy.
So
Tell
we
us
learned
about Kyle, Madison.
learned it.
You guys would let me
You're
speak.
Go for it.
Okay, thank you. I got the floor now. I got the mic. Hot mic here. Kyle, we find out a lot about Kyle's past. He, Ben and Emily are talking, having a glass of wine after their cute second date, and Kyle comes in and kind of whips out the computer and is like, oh yeah, I performed on the streets, traveling and whatever, and oh yeah, I was in this gay pride parade, and back in 2010, he's in like these little Speedos, like, twerking and air humping and just like shaking what his mama gave him. So we come to find out that he has dabbled in relations with men and transgendered people as well as women. And his current girlfriend, which by the way,
Ashley?
he got pissed at Sierra for talking to someone at home, but he's talking to Ashley. Anyways, side note. that Ashley, the girl he's currently talking to, is transgendered. So that was just really interesting. You know, we kind of learned a lot in a short amount of time.
Do you know what? I actually thought that the way, so he kind of slid it in there as just like this normal, like, oh yeah, and I like transgender women. It's fine. I thought that the way that he did it was kind of like interesting because he did it so matter of fact. But when he explained his whole situation, like, I thought Bravo had like made it sound like it was so much more dramatic. I thought he was just like, this is like who I like to date. And I thought it was like just like very awesome. And he was like, listen, I had an experience, I enjoyed it, and I realized that like I'm very attracted to transgender, effeminate men and women. Like, and it was like kind of like, oh, okay.
And I think
like, and everybody was just like awesome. Like, I thought it was a cool moment, and I don't know, I liked it.
Yeah,
I was happy.
It shows that he's grown up and that he's very comfortable with himself.
Yeah.
He's comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
And that, you know what, if you're going to judge him for that, then buzz off.
Yeah, and I don't think he really cares. He's just like, well, whatever.
He's like, this is what I do.
Like, whatever.
So, yeah, I just really liked it. I'm so happy. Like, I want to meet him. And he did mention coming to Los Angeles on the show to visit those guys. So,
yeah.
Kyle, if you're watching,
let us know.
Hit us up.
Everyone is saying what I said earlier, that yes, the charter guests were from Bravo's People's Couch, and were child actors, so you can IMDb them. The one guest was on Full House and on Little Rascals.
So do you think they actually knew Rebecca, the charter guest, or do you think they just brought him on because Rebecca's crew wasn't the most exciting?
Yeah, I think that they were like,
because you never really saw them together. Yeah, you never really saw them together.
Don't you think?
I was just gonna ask you guys if you thought that they had to pay, or they just cross promoted. They couldn't get anyone to do the yacht.
I think they cross promote it. Maybe those psychics paid, and then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna throw you in and cut half price or something."
What
did you think? We didn't hear your thoughts on the Kyle moment.
No, I think it was interesting the way he just subtly kind of slid it in there, and I don't necessarily think that he's got, Ashley's not his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He said that it's an off and on thing, and whatever's going on type of thing, but he's comfortable with it. I liked how he mentioned he likes people.
Yeah.
Whether or not whatever they are, so I can appreciate that. That was a cool moment, and I agree with you in that your evaluation of the fact that it kind of went not this big of a deal to be so different and unique and not make a big deal out of it was kind of a nice point to show kind of where we are, or at least where as Bravo is, and as a culture to be understanding, and at least the people on the boat, for them to all be kind of understanding and not making a crazy, oh my God, type of
it really shows, as you said, where we are as a culture, because if you guys ever watch like the old like Real World, or even some of the more recent seasons, they get people on there that are so backwards in their thinking, and I think it's pretty cool that here's just 4 people from all across the globe sitting there and able to have a conversation and express their preferences and feelings and everything just openly, who they are. And nobody judged them for that. So yeah, I thought that was cool. But it didn't bother me that he had, because as you said, it wasn't a girlfriend. And the problem with the date, it wouldn't even be a problem if Sierra had somebody back at home that she was kind of dating. She wasn't interested in him at all on that date to me. And it was like, why would you go on a date, be texting another guy, and be totally disinterested and have a guy pay to charter the boat? That was the problem for me with that. It wasn't that, she had been talking to somebody else. They weren't that serious yet. It was just like, why would you lead somebody on if you're not interested?
It's a date. Nothing serious about a first date. It's just a
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but she clearly had no interest in him.
Right. Yeah. Maybe she just wanted to feel loved, but she clearly wasn't having it. That's
tonight's episode. Who was the most valuable player in tonight's episode?
Oh.
Was it Kyle because of his announcement? Was it Ben because of his attack on the psychic? Was it Emily because of the way she handled her hiccups and got a kiss out of it? Was it Kate? Was it Captain Lee? Who are we looking at for our...
I'm going to say Kyle, because he was very interactive with the charter guests, and, I just like Kyle. He's very nice. He's just very, I
love Kyle.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to say Ben, because I think he was, right in the center of everything. I think he was, pushing the buttons of the charter guests and taking out women and pissing off other women. So
I'm going to go with Ben because of his smooth move
with the
on
makeout.
Emily.
He's so smooth. Literally, like, I feel if you were to just talk to him, you'd melt like butter.
Ugh,
So
that's what I love.
if it doesn't
about
work
Emily.
out for Ben and Emily, Ben can come to Los Angeles and meet Madison.
But
I'm just saying in general, he's just,
I love that.
he's got it. He's suave.
That Emily is not fazed by his like suave.
I feel like, do you think she just
Emily's
is
his
kind of
counterpart.
Yeah,
Yeah?
she's like, I know the games you're trying to play, and I'm not impressed. I like it.
I really love when you do your accents, by the way. It's just great.
All right, so predictions, shall we?
We'll get to
4 years
predictions,
of
but
theater school will
before the
teach you
predictions, I
accents.
just want to let you guys know we won't be here next week. Next week, we have an election in America.
Vote, everybody. Get out there and vote.
And so Below Deck will be on another night, and so we will be back in 2 weeks with a double
Cover
episode.
2 episodes.
And we'll cover both episodes 10 and 11 in 2 weeks, so don't miss us too much. In the meantime, you can, like I said, give us 5 stars. You can give Madison and Angela a follow on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow me if you want.
Are we gonna do our predictions?
And we'll do the predictions right now.
And now, you're AfterBuzz TV.
Macho.
Okay, Madison, and your big guns, why don't you give us your predictions?
Whoopah! Here we go. Maddie predicts.
That was so unexpected. That was great.
Oh God, I don't have anything. I'm gonna predict Kelly. His ship sinks pretty quickly with Captain Lee. As we know, Nico gets promoted to bosun, but I think Nico might not be bosun for too long. Maybe just one charter, and then Kelly's back in the bosun seat just to get a taste of this is what Captain Lee can do to you if you don't step up. That's my one prediction, and that's what I'm sticking to. And
We
that
are
I'm done.
syncing up.
My God, we're psychic. Did you just read my mind?
I know.
Oh my God.
Remember when they were like they're syncing their cycles? That's what, and then you got the psychic. We both were bringing it in. Okay, I
Girl.
totally agree with that one. I think that he's not going to be it for long.
Yeah.
I feel like it must be like a temporary Nico is the boss for the day or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I think Emily and Ben are going to get more into each other, and I think Kate's not going to like it.
You think?
I think that
two
there's
are
going to be
become-
more of an explosion, and like, in fact, I even think that like Emily and Kate could potentially get into it.
No.
Because I think that I think Kate could start with her. Like, you're not on your game. Is it because you're making out in the galley? Like, I think that something like that
So a
can
little
happen.
cynical, huh?
Shoot.
So I'll just tie it all together and say that I think that the whole Nico being promoted will be like a day thing.
Yeah.
And then
So exactly what I said.
Exactly what you said. Guns.
We're all
And then
synced.
furthermore, I would say that when we're back in 2 weeks, that in the next 2 episodes, Kate and Ro will break up.
Ooh,
Which maybe
wow.
leads credence to your idea that Kate will be a little bit
bitter.
or more into
Okay.
the relationship of Emily and Ben. With all that said, those are our predictions for season 4, episode 9 of Below Deck. Shout out to the engineer, James. He's always on top of his game.
Yes.
Thank you guys all for watching us. You can find us on social media. Madison, where can they find you?
Yes, everyone, I'm Madison Conklin. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maddie Says This and on Snapchat at Maddie Conklin.
And I'm Angela Struck, and you can find me on Twitter at @theangelastruck and on Instagram and Snapchat at Angela Struck.
And I'm Michael Rippe. You can find me on social media at Mike Rips. And remember, we're back, not next week, in 2 weeks. I'm going to slap this as much as I want, Madison. We'll see you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.